It was, by all accounts, the perfect crime. A million-pound heist wrapped in a murder, executed with surgical precision. Inside the shadowed opulence of Harold Crane's study, investigators found a scene expertly staged to look like a burglary gone wrong. A life was taken, a fortune in rare artifacts stolen, and the killer had simply vanished. No fingerprints, no weapon left behind, no digital breadcrumbs. For a moment, the perpetrator was a ghost, untouchable. The crime was a locked room, and the key had been thrown away. For 24 hours, the illusion of perfection held. Then a detective, crawling on hands and knees at the edge of a deep red Persian rug, saw it. A glint of copper, almost lost in the thick pile. An ordinary penny. He paused, picking it up with gloved fingers. Under the beam of his torch, something felt wrong, out of place. He didn't know why, but he felt a crack forming in the impossible crime.
The coin was bagged, labeled Exhibit A, and the unraveling began. The victim, Harold Crane, was a man who lived his life in whispers, a reclusive antique dealer preparing for the sale of a lifetime, a collection of priceless artifacts worth over £1 million. All of it off the books. The killer, investigators soon realized, was someone Crane trusted. There was no forced entry. The scene was a lie, a carefully constructed narrative. The real story was a struggle, a single brutal impact from a blunt object, and the theft of a small, secret lockbox, a box containing not gold or jewels, but something far more valuable: the ownership documents for the entire collection. Under the sterile lights of the forensic lab, the penny began to speak. First, it didn't match any of the meticulously organized coin patterns found in Crane's possession. He was a collector. A random scuffed penny was an anomaly. Then, under an electron microscope, its story grew darker. The coin's surface was covered in micro-scratches and a faint metallic residue, the signature of a specific high-pressure industrial press, a press that existed in only one place in the city, the metalworking shop owned by Crane's business partner, Simon Hale. The forensic team dug deeper. The scratches weren't random. They formed a faint diagonal scoring, a pattern unique to Hale's custom-fitted press, a flaw in the machinery he'd never bothered to fix. And then came the final, microscopic blow.
Lodged deep under the stamped copper of the year, almost invisible, were two crimson fibers. When analyzed, they were a perfect match for Harold Crane's Persian rug. The timeline was now clear. Workshop footage from days before the murder showed Simon Hale, frustrated, dropping a coin near his press. The penny had fallen from his pocket during the struggle with Crane, a tiny, forgotten witness. When investigators confronted Simon Hale, his confidence didn't just crack, it shattered. The penny tied him directly to the room. It proved his movement across the carpet, the struggle, the lie of the staged burglary, and the million-pound motive. In the end, Simon Hale was convicted, and the stolen collection was recovered. The case wasn't solved by advanced AI or a last-minute DNA match. It was solved by the smallest, cheapest object in a room full of priceless treasures. Criminals plan for the big things, the alibis, the cameras, the digital trails. But they forget the tiny details that witness everything. A fiber, a scratch, a residue, a date stamped in metal. A penny doesn't panic. It doesn't forget. And sometimes it's the cheapest item in the room that solves the most expensive crime.